The following is a production of White Lightning Entertainment. This is Burning Rubber Radio.
And off of 4, it's going to be Christopher Bell. He won the Xfinity race and the Cup race in New Hampshire a week ago, and now he wins Stage 1. That is going to be a sweep of the stages for Christopher Bell. It's the 4th time that he's swept the first 2 stages of a race. Reddick, one more chance. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. He goes up the racetrack. Logano goes up to block. Off turn 4. Logano is going to win in Nashville.
Burning Rubber Radio is brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching. It's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. Now from the White Lightning Entertainment Studios in Statesville, North Carolina, here's your host, Andy DeLay.
Hey everybody, it's Burning Rubber Radio time. I'm your host, Andy DeLay, alongside my compadres, the NASCAR chef, and of course, Wayne Owens over there turning the dials. We have one heck of a show, like always, lined up for you. But you know why? Because we're the fastest 60 minutes in motorsports, baby.
Well, of course.
And of course, man, you guys, we got great racing. For me, personally, anyway, this past weekend at Nashville. Absolutely great Xfinity Series race, the Cup Series race. If you don't like that kind of racing, folks, go watch soccer or something. Yeah. That was good stuff.
Well, now your son might take offense to that one.
Yeah, he might. I know he loves soccer, but folks, if you're a racer, that 5 overtimes to finish the race.
Absolutely.
Yep.
As of the 20 laps to go, I'm like, oh, okay, Ross Chastain's got this. Ross Chastain has this in the bag. And no, Denny Hamlin passes them. So I'm like, okay, Denny Hamlin has this in the bag. Yeah.
But, I mean, we'll definitely talk about all of that as we get into news of the week coming up here in just a little bit. You know, Cup Series, Xfinity Series. There was a truck race this past weekend at Nashville as well. And talk about domination, man. Again, we'll talk about all of that when we get into news of the week here. We've got NHRA news coming up later in the show. We've got an update on John Force. Folks, as you've been following with us on our Facebook page as well, we've been posting the updates there as well, too. But we wanted to talk about it again on the radio this week and on our YouTube and Rumble channels as well, just to make sure that folks could see it as well as read it. And a lot of good stuff this week, Andy, especially with the NHRA stuff where one of our former guests, that Burning Rubber baby, certainly got him a win.
It worked again, brother.
Yes,
it went ahead and worked. Yeah. And I'm sure you're going to be pleased with the F1 news.
Yeah, I read that, and I'm just like, I couldn't help but just giggle a little bit. But we'll talk all about all of that coming up here later on in both of our News of the Week segments that we've got coming up for you this week. First of all, though, getting to the sponsors this week. Got to talk about Drive Refine over at driverefine.com. Folks, it's not driver coaching like you would think it is. It literally helps any driver, whether you're real or simulation, work better in tandem with your crew chief, with your crew, to know what you need, when you need it, how you need it. And the simple fact is, it's not just driver coaching, it's Drive Refine.
Drive Refine.
Hey, that echo was a little closer today. That's cool. And folks over at iRacing as well, make sure you go to iRacing.com and sign up for the world's premier online motorsports simulation. It is iRacing.com, 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 the world's premier online motorsports simulation. And if I'm not mistaken, I think if you're a brand new customer, they're still doing the 1 month free trial thing too. So if you get signed up, go try it out. If you get the free trial for the month and see what you think of it. Because personally, the folks here at Burning Rubber Radio, we love iRacing. Simple.
Oh yeah.
And then of course MyPillow. Make sure you go over to mypillow.com/BRR and use the promo code BRR at checkout to get your order delivered for free.
That's better. Delivered for free. Hey, also, Wayne, I want to tell everyone out there, folks, if you're listening to us on the radio and you don't see us, you can go over to YouTube and see us at youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Please subscribe. It's free. Please, if you're watching us, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out, and it doesn't cost you a red cent. No. Also, head over to our Facebook page right now and go to Rumble too. You can watch us there, but go to our Facebook page and follow us, please.
Yep. YouTube.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the videos that we're throwing up there, folks. Blood, sweat, and tears is what goes into this show, and there's a lot of it over the last 17 years. And we have truly enjoyed doing what we do for each and every one of y'all every single week. Again, youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio, rumble.com, search for Burning Rubber Radio, and then on facebook.com/Burning Rubber Radio, instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio, twitter.com/BRR_radio. That one is still a work in progress. And then, of course, our TikTok channel at Burning Rubber Radio, or actually, at BRR even, I think is the primary tag on that one. So either way, folks, we're all over the socials. Make sure you come and hang out with us, whether it be live on the radio, live on TV, whatever the case might be. All right, folks, with that said here, Andy, it's that time where we get to that first foreign fuel, and I'll tell you what, it's good to know that you didn't finally correct me when I said the order was delivered for free. You didn't find anything funny about that one. But
at least you didn't shit yourself.
Oh, my God. But with that said here, folks, we've got to step aside. We've got to take that first foreign fuel. But coming up here later on in the show, folks, we've got some really good stuff for you here. Former NASCAR Cup Series driver, author, all sorts of fun stuff with this guy.
Daytona 500 winner.
There you go. And we got Geoff Bodine coming on the show here with us this week. Oh, man, I am looking so forward to that. And you know what? We might... I mentioned it a few minutes ago, too, during this segment, where we might talk a little bit about an update with John Force. So, you know what? We may just tie all that in with Geoff and see what happens there. But with that said, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that first foreign fuel. And when we come back, news of the week for everybody, NASCAR bound, baby.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goose Down comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our MyPillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on Instagram at Instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber. Producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay. And boys, I'll tell you what, Nashville was on fire this
yes,
past
sir.
weekend.
Excellent stuff.
And but I'll tell you what, it wasn't just on fire in the Cup Series either, Andy. We had trucks, we had Xfinity, we had the triple threat this past weekend at the Nashville Super Speedway. And I'm gonna go in reverse this week. I'm gonna start it off with the Craftsman Truck Series here from this past weekend. And Christian Eckes, you want to talk about domination?
Pole to pole, baby, wire to wire.
Yep, he was wire to wire at Nashville Super Speedway this past weekend. And a 150-lap showdown ends up winning or leading every single lap. Nobody had anything for Christian Eckes this past weekend at the Nashville Super Speedway. Moving into the Xfinity Series here and now, and John Hunter Nemechek. Now that's, we don't hear much about John Hunter anymore nowadays since he went back down to the Xfinity Series. But he managed to get himself in a good spot this past weekend, 46 of the last 46 laps of the race, and takes home a much-needed, in my opinion, win at Nashville.
Yeah, he had a good car all day. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was actually in the Cup Series race too, so it was double duty for him. And you said something about it was hot, on fire. Buddy, inside those cars, they were on fire, especially in the Xfinity Series race, where A.J. Allmendinger's car was clocking in at 130 degrees inside that oven.
Oh yeah, and folks, we talk about safety, we talk about temperatures, everything like that. We're in the middle of summer at this point here in the Southeast, and Andy especially knows about it. John knows about it. I know about it with where I'm at here in North Carolina. But like on Sunday, I was out driving around doing Amazon and everything like that, right? And temperatures were pushing about 104, 105 degrees just on the external temperatures. You factor in what goes into these race cars and the heat that is generated and everything like that. Like Andy said, 130 degrees minimum in those cars. And if they're sitting there idling and not doing anything, that internal temperature can easily climb up near 200 degrees.
And Corey Haim, actually, his cool suit failed during the Xfinity Series race.
Not just his, but Riley Herbst's also failed
too.
as well.
Yeah.
Yes. And Herbst, he was driving around. He couldn't get his purged at a pit stop, and he ended up just circulating this hot water around his body in this heat. So that's crazy. I sit there and gripe, me being a law enforcement officer, that, I'm down here in Florida in this heat and humidity and body armor. But, man, these guys are driving around in a race car with hot water going around them, getting them even hotter. To heck with that.
Yeah, Riley said that it was affecting his vision for a while.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, so the comment, and this comes from a direct article from one of our fellow websites that we work with here. Herbst was quoted as saying, "My cool suit made a weird noise. It clunked a little bit, but what are we going to do when we're rolling off?" Like, this happened as he was rolling off the grid. So, his cool suit failed him before the start of the race. So he had to put up with this for 2.5 hours.
I think that early in the race, I'd have come in and fixed it.
I would have. I would have, but, it's like he said, he's like, what can we do when we're rolling off?
Well, if it was you, brother, and you come rolling back down pit road, the guys that have shook their head and said, buddy, it took us a half an hour to squeeze you into that car. You ain't coming out for nothing.
Wow. They'd have thrown water on him and tell him to get out.
Wow. Get the heck out of here.
Oh, I love you. I love you assholes too.
I do, yes.
And, moving in now into the world of the NASCAR Cup Series, and boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And I use that many oh boys for a reason. This past Sunday night, 5 overtimes, setting a track record at Nashville Superspeedway.
131 laps.
When they started the overtime, they said years ago when they started that, they said they're only going to do 3. So I guess that changed or something. I don't know.
It changed about 2 years ago, where now it's unlimited overtimes. And,
I love it.
Until they run out of cars, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. And not to mention too, rain was also a factor in Sunday's race as well too, where they had to stop the race for, I think it was probably a good 45 minutes, Andy?
Yeah, right at an hour.
Yeah, so right at about an hour to get the track dry and everything like that, and just everything that was going on in the Cup Series race this past Sunday, and that ending, Andy. I even heard a comment from who was it? Was it Doug Rice? Yeah, it was Doug Rice on PRN actually that I heard it from. There was a quote on Twitter or X even from Jim Utter that was like, "I wonder what's going to happen first, race's end or Doug Rice's retirement."
Yeah, no doubt. But guys, honestly, that was great stuff. The last 20 laps, which turned out to be 30 or 40 laps. But anyway, the final 20 was excellent. You thought the race was done, but it was far from done. Heck, even on the final lap, You got these guys coming out of turn 4, coming to the start-finish line. Joey Logano wins as his car runs out of gas. He said he was stuttering coming out of turn 4.
Yep.
And Zane Smith, first off, Joey Logano, a non-player all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Zane Smith, rookie, comes just a hair away from his first win.
68 1,000th of a second.
He was a non-factor in the race all day. So this was just excellent stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the official finishing order, folks, Joey beat Zane by only 68 1,000ths of a second. That is how close of a finish that was because of Joey running out of fuel. Like he had just enough fuel left in the reserve tank that he could do 360 burnouts, and that was it. The car died right there.
Yep.
That was all she wrote.
Yeah, we've been following Zane for years, even back when he was in a truck race. So good for him.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good to see that. But the thing is in the final corner, it all came to a head with Joey having to block Reddick, who was definitely coming. He was going to pass everybody.
Oh, he was trucking.
And at the same time, he had to come back down and try to get in front of Zane Smith, which he didn't do because his car was out of gas, basically. So great stuff. NASCAR, keep putting on shows like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Keep on doing shows like that, and you'll find that you might regain some of us old school fans again. And but either which way here, moving on, and we got to talk about the NHRA, Andy. That burning rubber, baby, done it again.
It did. Antron Brown, baby. He's on the show last week, and he goes out there and wins
at Norwalk
this week.
Yep.
At Norwalk.
Yep. 3-time Top Fuel World Champion Antron Brown slipped past points leader Doug Coletta in the final round of the 18th annual Summit Racing. And you notice they put it there where they say he literally slipped past the points leader Doug Coletta. That 2/10 got him that W.
That 2/10 did it, man. That's a burning rubber, baby. That's what got that. See, Antron, I'll send you my address and put the check in the mail.
And then other ones to touch on here with the NHRA from this past weekend. Sadly, JFR didn't make it to the final round this past weekend with Austin Prock, but still some good stuff from Austin, putting on a good show. Albeit everything that's going on with John in the hospital and everything like that. Brittany Force, of course, also did not race this past weekend. That was her personal decision, family supported, but her personal decision to not race this past weekend at Norwalk to be with her dad. Bob Tasker III took home the win in Funny Car. Aaron Stanfield got it in Pro Stock Motorcycles, and Andy, Pro Stock Motorcycles, you know who won?
Oh, you're kidding me, man.
Gage Herrera.
Again.
Again.
Gage Herrera, that guy is just he's the Max Verstappen of motorcycles. Drag motorcycle.
He really is. he really is, man. And
speaking of Wayne's buddy Max Verstappen.
We'll touch on him later in the show. We'll touch on that one later in the show. But now I will give credit where credit is due, though. One guy that we haven't talked about a little bit lately in the NHRA before we go to break here is Ron Capps, and he actually made it to the final round this past weekend against Tasker.
He did.
So, and top speed on that run for Tasker too, 336.82 miles per hour.
Wow,
that's unreal, man.
That they're at the point now they're matching Top Fuel.
Yeah, they are. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crazy.
It's insane to think just how fast these guys are really going. But on that note here, folks, though, we do need to step aside. We need to take that next foreign fuel. And when we come back, again, we have got a phenomenal guest for you this week. We have got former NASCAR Cup Series driver, Daytona 500 champion, and just all-around kick-ass guy. We've got Geoff Bodine coming on the show with us, folks. Don't you dare go anywhere. We will be right back.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Visit us online at burningrubberradio.com for recipes from the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more great content.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Now back to more Burning Rubber Radio.
And we are back on Burning Rubber. It's producer Wayne, NASCAR chef John Dix, Andy DeLay. And Andy, we finally got a minute to catch him. Oh, my goodness, he's a busy dude. And our featured guest of the week this week, folks, I am so thrilled to have him on the show. I know Andy is too, as well as John.
Oh, yeah.
We have got former NASCAR Cup Series driver Geoff Bodine with us here. Geoff, welcome in, brother.
Great to finally hook up with you guys. Yeah, I still work for a living, you know.
Yeah.
I've always worked all my life, built, designed, and of course drove, maintained all my race cars, and I still love working on them. What's wrong with me? I'm 75 years old. I should be taking time off, right? But I help a friend of mine here in Melbourne, Florida. We build C5 Corvettes for road racing. It's a Class A spec Corvette class, they call it. But we strip them right down to nothing and put a roll cage in them and then put them back together and have a lot of fun. But I just enjoy it. I don't know. I'm crazy. My wife says Laura says I'm working too much.
One has to wonder then, Geoff. So knowing that you build the Corvettes and stuff for spec stuff like that, have you thought of getting into doing any stuff with like SCCA and working on like some of the ground pounders and stuff like that?
Well, this class runs in SCCA. It's a Chin. It's Hooked on Driving. It's all those groups. From coast to coast, north to south, this spec Corvette class has really taken off, and
yes.
So you can go all over and run these cars, and a lot of ex-race drivers are doing things like this.
Yep.
You know, with either I think Nemechek, he does a series, and there's just a bunch of guys that are involved, and this is what I'm involved in. It keeps me busy. I don't need to be doing anything else.
Well, you're definitely doing some other stuff here because you got a new book out called All of It, and tell us a little bit about that, Geoff.
Yeah, that's quite ironic. I'm not a reader. I learned a long time ago racing modifieds. You know, I'd win, beat the local guys, and the papers, they'd write bad things about me. And of course, that makes you angry and upset. And I just finally said, I'm not reading any more racing papers or anything. And so I just kind of quit reading and didn't pay attention to that. And so I'm not a good reader, but, I was pretty much inspired by God to do this. I don't want to scare anyone away. I'm a Christian. And there's no question that the Lord has saved me several times in racing. And the big one, the most spectacular one, was at Daytona in 2000. First time they ran the trucks there. And there's a reason why that accident happened, is what happened during it, and then what's happened after it. But that really inspired me to write a book to show people, because I'm a true example of, if you truly believe in the Lord and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, one day you might get a miracle when you need it. Yep. And I'm certainly got one that day in Daytona.
I remember that day well, Geoff.
Yeah.
Very much. I was sitting in front of the TV when that happened. I remember picking up the phone and said to my friend, I said, I think Bodine just got killed.
Yeah, everyone thought that. But hey, with the help of the Lord and all his angels, I fooled everybody, and I'm still here. And I wrote a book. I mean, it's quite crazy that I wrote a book. And actually, TVN, the Trinity Network, published it for me. They're Christian. And the book's All of It. And you can get it on Amazon. Or you can get it at Barnes & Noble. You have to order it through them. You even get it on Walmart's website. I never thought I'd have everything being sold on Walmart. That's crazy. But the best way to get it, there's two really good ways to get it, is meet me at a racetrack.
Yep.
Because that way I'll autograph it.
Mm-hmm.
And or go on teambodine.square.site. All that information will come to us. My wife and my mother-in-law, Lori and Linda, will get it. They'll give me the book. I autograph it, whatever you want in there, or just my name, and we'll send it back to you. And really an easy setup. But so if you want an autograph, either see me at a racetrack, which sometimes is hard for people, but then send it to teambodine.square.site.
Super stuff.
Now, you said see you at a racetrack, and tell the folks out there coming up. A lot of folks are excited about the new IROC series event, a course Ray Abraham's putting out and everything. And we'd already talked with Mark Martin. Mark Martin's going to be there driving around in one of the old cars. But now we hear that you too, sir, are going to be at the IROC event.
Yeah, that's for sure. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Seeing a lot of the old drivers. I'm an old driver, so it's going to be fun getting up with the drivers. And I actually went and saw some of the cars at Ray's shop in Mooresville when I was in Charlotte, signing autographs. And it's amazing what Ray Abraham has done with his life in racing, NASCAR, and now in the business side. Really, we're all thankful that he's doing it, because that was such a great series.
It was.
It's not out there yet. But, so yeah, I'll be there. And I'm going to be there. Actually, there's an all-star race that weekend, and this is going to be incredible also. So if you're up near, Lime Rock, Connecticut, anywhere close by, you need to be there that weekend, because they have put together this group of drivers, the older drivers, the famous drivers. I mean, I'm the grand marshal for that event, but I'm going to be in awe of the named drivers that they've got driving these, I think they're GT cars or something. Anyway, it's going to be great. A lot of fun, dinner, parties, and you name it. A lot of good racing, too.
Hey, Geoff, I have a question, if you don't mind. How did you find Christ? How did you come to the Lord?
Well, yeah, it's always, I'm a farm kid from upstate New York, and then, of course, my parents built a racetrack when I was a year old, and we had a dairy store, so we're busy kids, no internet, nothing like that back then. So we're outside playing all the time. Then that turned into work. The racetrack was a dirt track, so grading, picking rocks, rolling, watering, all that. I helped my dad. The farm, we'd bale hay, we'd put the insulates into silos, we'd do all that stuff. And so I just, had great work ethics. And, in school, I'm very, and this is something else I'm really proud of. I've spent 6 years in the National Guard. And I was going to college, spent 6 years in the Guard, and still raced. And just a great life. God gave me a lot of great opportunities, and I'm just so thankful that I didn't miss. I messed up a lot, but I didn't miss the big ones. And he keeps leading me now. He led me to write this book, and it's to try to get more people to believe in him and accept Jesus. And
yes,
I'm a Christian, and back when I was working, we went to church once in a while, but we raced Saturday nights. We had to clean the track up Sunday, and so that took that away. And
well, and you know what, Geoff, though, the best point to that, though, is, and I'm going to say this as a Christian myself, it even says it in the Bible. You don't have to go to church every single Sunday. You can make an altar to God and worship Him anywhere you want. So if you wanted it to be on the trunk of that truck that you're cleaning off, there you go.
Exactly, and but guys, I won all those races and modifieds and late models, and finally got my first cup ride in 1982 full time, and And I woke up, man, I wasn't happy. I said, what the heck? I got everything, want a family, wife, kids, the job I always wanted, and I'm not happy. And I swear that this is all in the book. I'm going to tease you a little bit. But the knock on one, I think it was a Sunday morning, on my door, and I opened it up, with some Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh,
that
yeah.
stopped. So I invited them in, and they were, talking and shared with me some literature and all that stuff, and they left, and I appreciated them being there, and the light went on. That was God. God sent them to my door to knock on that door that morning, and that's when I realized why I wasn't happy. I didn't have God in my life.
There you go.
I thought it was all me. I thought I was the guy that won all those races. It was all me. I built the cars. I built a better car, and me. Well, I did it, but God led me to do it. He gave me the talent to do it. And so that's when I started searching for it. I was driving home one night from Charlotte after I was driving for Rick Hendrick, and it was about 2 a.m, working late, getting the car ready for Daytona, and I like to be part of all that. And about halfway home from Charlotte to Greensboro, North Carolina, tears came in my eyes, and I just started praying to the Lord. I said, please, I want you in my life. I want to be in your life, and I accepted Jesus. And my wife, Lori, and I, down here in Florida, which is the neatest thing, we got baptized in the ocean.
Oh,
and so, yeah, but this was back in 86. 82 is when I realized I wasn't happy, and it took me to 86 before I accepted Jesus and asked him to be in my life. And boy, oh boy, he's there, and things when you go there, when you tell Satan that you love Jesus and you love the Lord, he's come and get you. He tempts you. And boy, I failed a lot. I still sin. Of course you do. We're all sinners. Till the day we die and go to heaven, we're all sinners.
yes, sir.
But man, but he has got me through. And this is, you got to get the book. Need to send you a book. But I thought about killing myself 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
And I've been through. Well, I went through divorce. And my kid's mother died, and I've been through bankruptcy. I had a sponsor cheat me out of $18 million, cheated me out of it. So I spent all my money to keep that race team going. So I'm not a rich retired race driver, but I'm a happy retired race driver. And then the accidents, the crashes. I had a fiance that died. So I was going to jump off a balcony. I was going to run my Corvette into the median at 180 miles an hour, and God wouldn't let me do it. He kept me going on a straight, narrow road. He kept me. I used to drink a bottle of wine a night to go to sleep.
Wow.
That's when I'm still racing. I said, I can't do this, Lord. I know that I can't keep doing this, and this is at night, and pretty soon I'm sleeping. I asked him to give me a way to go to sleep without it, and he did. You know what that way was? Talk to him.
Yep.
Pray to him. Put me to sleep. I still do it today. I pray in the night, and boom, I go to sleep.
Yep.
Because drinking a bottle of wine a night before a race isn't good.
No.
Gosh, no.
And so,
Absolutely.
So I'm truly blessed, and I'm on a mission to lead as many people as I can to believe in God and accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. And you got to work, got to pay bills, but I wrote the book to do that, to get out there and see people and talk to them and try to lead them to God.
Very cool stuff, Geoff.
That's great.
Well, on that note, my friend, again, thank you for taking a few minutes to sit down and talk with us this week here. We've got to get ready to step aside to our next commercial break, but we want to get you in on the tradition we get every driver in on. We have done this with everybody. We need to do it with Brett and Todd too here in the very near future.
I think we had Todd do this one time.
Actually, yeah, we did have Todd do it many years ago. So, old Herm, Kenny Wallace, started this for us back in 2008, grabbed the mic out of Andy's hand and said, "Your show's burning rubber, baby. Just those three famous words, burning rubber, baby. And with that, every driver that's done it, John Force included, Antron Brown, Todd
He just
Bodine.
did it this week.
Yeah, he just did it this week.
Antron Brown.
You either get 2/10 faster on the racetrack, a chance at a guaranteed race win, a championship, or in your case, you know what? We're gonna make up another one, a number one bestseller.
There you go.
Hey, there you go. There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, Jeff, a big old burning rubber, baby, at the top of your lungs, buddy.
Well, I'm a quiet guy. I might just go burning rubber, baby.
Hey, that works too.
Or I might do a sexy one. Hey, we're burning rubber, baby. Or I might go, you're burning rubber, baby.
There we go.
Wonderful.
We didn't get it just once. We got it 3 times from Geoff Bodine. That's gonna be number one bestseller for sure.
Yeah, I gave you a threefer.
Yeah, a threefer. And folks, this was Geoff Bodine, and go out and check out his book, all of it. And that's about Geoff Bodine's. It's pretty much a biography, and it tells you all about everything that he's been through and done. And Jeff, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, great to be with you guys. It's more than just about me. It's about NASCAR, how people cheated. I don't name names. How about NASCAR treated me, Goodyear, Hoosier tires. I mean, it's things that people really don't know about.
Yep.
And that's why it's called all of it.
There you go.
Go on teambodine.square.site.
Teambodine.square.site, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, pretty much anywhere books are sold, folks. Make sure you go and grab a copy of all of it. And if you do it through the square.site, you can get an autographed copy. Or if you happen to see Jeff at the track, if you bring your book with you, he may just autograph it for you right then and there. And with that said, folks, there you go. And with that said here, folks, we're going to step aside. We're going to take that next 4 and fuel. And when we come back, hey, Jeff, you like good food, don't you?
Oh, you betcha.
Well, you know what? We got the NASCAR chef John Dix coming up next, and he's got, speaking of adult beverages, he's got a fun one for us when we come back.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. When I invented My Pillow, it had everything you'd ever want in a pillow. Well, now there's new technology that makes it even better. My Pillow 2.0 has my patented fill combined with a cooling fabric with temperature regulating thread. My Pillow 2.0 is truly the next generation of My Pillow.
Now's the time to go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use the promo code to save 50% on your My Pillow 2.0. Not only that, for a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free.
You're sleeping even better.
And cooler, too.
And you're looking good.
Feeling good.
I knew you would.
mypillow.com.
The grill is fired up, and the chef has something good cooking.
Oh, you're cooking, Frankie!
It's the NASCAR chef, John Dix, and more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber, producer Wayne, Andy DeLay, and the NASCAR chef, John Dix. And, John, you're cooking this week, aren't you, sir? But it's not what we think it is.
Well, I tell you, Wayne, this week is 4th of July week, and happy birthday, USA. And we're gonna have a little fun, and we're gonna do some popsicles, and not just any popsicles, but these are adult popsicles. They're called Dirty Pirate Popsicles.
I was going to say, that picture already looks good.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're going to start with a 1/4 cup or more of some Captain Morgan spiced rum, 2 cups of Coca-Cola. Now, I did it with root beer, all right? And it really left a good flavor. And you want to leave your soda in the refrigerator overnight so you can remove and leave the top of it. So you want to remove the carbonation is what it is, okay? And then a 1/4 cup of Kahlua, some popsicle molds, and some popsicle sticks. Okay, guys, now you want to mix all those ingredients up in a pitcher and stir it well and pour them into the molds. Insert your wooden sticks into the molds and freeze them overnight. Now, if you have to get them open, you can run a little warm water on the outside of the molds for them to come out. And guys, this is a lot of fun. Serve them, this weekend sometime when you're watching a race or you're grilling out or just celebrating the 4th of July. And again, happy birthday, USA. And be a lot of fun.
I've heard of rum and Coke, but that puts a whole new spin on it, buddy.
I'm sure folks have done something that I've done. They try to put their liquor in the freezer and get it real cold. And of course, it doesn't freeze.
Yep.
Right.
So I guess the other stuff makes it freeze then, right?
Absolutely, Andy. Yeah, that's a good point. Adding the soda and the stuff to it. But again, just make sure your soda, whatever you use, is, not carbonated because it'll leave a lot of air bubbles in it. But, yeah, it'll freeze it up real good and be a lot of fun. And slide it to the guy over there on the grill who's had one too many beers and look at his face when he starts eating that popsicle.
Well, no, see, we want to make sure we don't give something like that to Andy because even though it doesn't have carbonation, we know we're going to end up hearing after he has a few of those.
Thanks, man. I guess that and going to Taco Bell or something combined.
Yeah. No, folks, if you're curious.
This segment hadn't gone to the gutter, so we might as well.
Of course, man. We've got to at least bring it down somewhere.
I know.
If you're wondering what Andy's talking about there, folks, so this past week I sent him a reel on Facebook. It was a fire hydrant. I guess they were doing something with mud or septic or something like that. And it's just like, okay, here's McDonald's, here's White Castle. Oh my God, there's Taco Bell.
Oh goodness.
So trust me, there are a lot of shitty memes that I sent him throughout the week.
And having said that, guys, if you have any ideas or any recipes you want to send me other than those, you can reach me at john@brrtv.com.
.net.
Excuse me, .net. I'm sorry, john@brrtv.net, and send me some recipes and some ideas, and we can even highlight them on the show for you.
Yep.
Give you a shout out.
Most definitely, folks. And with that said here, go ahead and take one last good look at the recipe in full screen view for the week here. Dirty Pirate Popsicles. Arr, matey. I couldn't help but get that one in there. And but again, folks, here, take a good look at the recipe full screen here. And on our folks, if you're listening on the radio, youtube.com/Burning Rubber Radio, rumble.com, search for Burning Rubber Radio, and you can get this recipe about 3/4 of the way through the show. And with that said here, we're going to step aside. We're going to take our final 4 and fuel. And when we come back here, boys, some final news of the week to touch on, including an update on John Force, Max Verstappen. Oh, boy, here we go with another one of those. And I think we've even got some AMA Supercross news to touch on when we come back.
What can we learn from a child?
That spreading joy
is more important than a trophy.
That when we help others,
we heal ourselves.
That with a little love,
we can make the biggest impact.
At Speedway Children's Charities,
our mission
is simple.
Help every child we can.
Because all children deserve joy.
And hope.
And love.
And if one child is still in need,
then there's still work to do.
Because their future
is our future.
And there's still so much they can teach us.
Burning Rubber is social. Follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/Burning Rubber Radio. Now back to more Burning Rubber.
And we're back. It's Burning Rubber. Producer Wayne, Andy DeLay, NASCAR chef John Dix, and
Arr,
matey. And the Dirty Pirates. We're some scurvy.
They done got into the popsicles, guys.
We're some scurvy pirates. Yes, we are. Yeah. Oh man, but with that,
but Wayne hangs out with them pirates of Penzance.
Oh my God.
The shiny little boots and the pretty pants.
Lord,
I can't with you this week already. Good Lord.
All right, my
folks,
gosh, Wayne's even breaking down his backdrop.
Oh God,
and all that
Jesus,
stuff.
Andy, what did you do to my camera? Like you kicked my camera cord under the desk there. Good Lord.
Yeah, keep them popsicles away from Wayne. He's getting out of focus.
Tip me camera, you mateys. Anyway, let's get on with this.
News
Oh,
for the
John,
week,
your spot's spilling over. The 13-year-old in us is spilling over.
Back to news of the week here, though, folks, and a little bit of serious news to touch on here. We've got to talk about an update with John Force from this past week. As everybody knows, when they were in Richmond last week, not this past Sunday, not this past weekend at Norwalk, but technically 2 weeks ago at Richmond, John Force was involved in a very serious crash where his engine had caught fire. It immediately
exploded.
Pretty much, yeah. And the car immediately broke left, smacked the retaining wall on the left, and then came back over and smacked the retaining wall on the right side in the lane that John was in. With that, John was able to climb out of the car, as everybody knows, under his own power, and get to the care of the safety safari that the NHRA has, and was then transported to a local medical facility for evaluation. Due to the extent of his injuries, originally he was sedated and moved into intensive care. Within the last 5 days, however, or 5 days after his hospitalization, which would have been on the 30th of June, so this past Saturday, John was moved into neurointensive care, where he had made enough progress that he had woken up out of his sedation. It seems like things are getting better day by day for John, but they have diagnosed him with a traumatic brain injury, as well as other injuries that the list is just kind of too long to name at this point.
One thing I want to add about the traumatic brain injury here, folks, we've seen it not only in the NHRA, we saw it in NASCAR. It killed John Nemechek back in the late 90s. When you hit the wall, John hit that wall the first time. He pancaked it with the driver's side. How does that kill drivers? You think that the head-on crash, more like Dale Earnhardt's, would kill the driver. It's done because the lateral forces in the car and the head impact the wall itself. That's how John Hunter, not John Hunter, but John Nemechek was killed in Miami.
Right.
However, today, with all of the safety stuff that we have, John Force, of course, had a helmet on, had all of his safety gear, had a halo comes around the head. And when he impacted that wall, it was still hard enough that, of course, the brain inside your head still moves and compacts against the skull, that the G-forces gave him a traumatic brain injury. So thank you so much, NHRA and safety, because if this was 10 or 15, now probably 15 years ago, we would have definitely lost John Force.
If this would have been his wreck back in 2007, we would have lost John Force.
It pancaked the wall like that, and he would have not been here.
No, he most certainly would not have been. But folks, we have been keeping you guys updated on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Spreading Rubber Radio. We haven't received an update as of the taping of this show, which is July 1st. But since the last update on June the 30th, again, the taping of this show being July the 1st, we have not received any current updates for today, Monday, July the 1st. But as we get updates throughout the week, we will certainly keep you guys updated on our Facebook page like we have been over the period of time since these injuries.
And prayers to John and his family.
Now,
very much so.
Now, one thing I will bring a little bit of light to when it comes to that, and actually have a little bit of fun with here, is that when John came out of his sedation, they did have to restrain him because he's pretty much, as the doctors called him, a raging bull. And I'm not going to lie, that is the John Force that I know.
That's what I want to hear.
So the fact that they actually had to restrain him to the hospital bed, Andy, because he kept trying to get up and walk around and do everything like this. And the doctor's like, no, you can't be doing that yet. He's like, God damn it, I can do whatever I want on John Force. But it's good stuff to see John somewhat back with us here, and hopefully healing up very quickly, even for his age.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, they did say it's going to be a long road to hoe.
Yeah.
So, we're going to keep everyone, I promise, up to date on anything we hear from John Force Racing. We're not going to pass any rumors or anything like that. It's all going to be stuff that's in stone.
Yep.
So.
Everything is coming directly from JFR, so that's where that comes from. And moving into the world of Formula One, and Max Verstappen does not get a win this week.
Yeah, I figured you'd be happy about that.
Oh, of course. I'm tickled to death about it. Actually, it was good to see George Russell get a win. He's been long overdue to do something in Formula One.
Imagine that.
And Mercedes, too, on top of that. So Mercedes and George Russell get the win this past weekend at Sunday's Formula One Austrian Grand Prix. And this was after a battle between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris. Both cars clash, and even Norris, now, of course, Lando had a little bit of a temperament issue this past weekend after that accident with Verstappen, and even Norris is like, he's the one in the wrong making the moves that he did.
That's true. And keep in mind, these F1 guys don't do NASCAR beating and banging at all.
Right.
You touch another car in F1 and it's kind of like horse racing. You're disqualified.
Pretty much, yeah. You're it's one of those old. It's like that old saying goes: you F around, you're gonna find out. And
you F1 around.
You F1 around, you're gonna find out too. There you go. I like that one. We'll stick with that one. Either which way here, we got to get ourselves actually moved on over into picks now, because we've got the Chicago Street Course this weekend, and second annual Chicago Street Race, Andy. And I got a weird feeling that I don't know if he's on the entry list yet. I haven't heard confirmation yet. I don't think SVG's running the Cup race this weekend, is he?
Don't ask me. I haven't seen the entry list.
I think I heard he was.
You know what?
I would think he would be, being that he won the thing last year. But I will tell you that he's not my pick.
Well, I hope the weather's not like it was. I hope our duck's not happy this weekend. Like it was
our duck isn't in the studio this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, thank God the duck's not in here yet. Jesus. Okay, so it does not look like the entry list has been released just yet. Again, folks, we're taping this on Monday, July the 1st. The entry list has not been put out yet for the Grant Park 165, which is what they're calling it this year. So I'm going to say if he is running it, make your picks accordingly. If he's not, also make your picks accordingly. And Andy, you're number one.
Easy, man. Kyle Larson.
Okay. All right. Road course ace and Kyle Larson. And then John Dix, you're up.
I think we're going to have a watermelon weekend with our boy Ross Chastain.
Okay.
That's not a bad pick either.
You know what? I just looking at the performance from last year's Chicago Street Race, and SVG obviously dominating it. I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to say Tyler Reddick.
Okay.
You've left both John and I speechless over here.
Well, I mean, Reddick actually had a decent run in Chicago last year.
I'm not saying anything bad about it, but you could have picked Josh Bilicki too, and you would have got the same reaction.
Oh my God, yeah, folks, yeah. When you were listening on the radio there for a minute, that silence you heard, I literally had Andy and John's jaws on the floor.
All right.
But you know who we got to go talk to this week, though, right?
Oh, yeah, it's time for the motorsports enthusiast, baby.
Oh, yeah, it is time for the motorsports enthusiast. John Dornerudras, take it away, my friend, in the final lap.
Welcome to the final lap with me, the motorsport enthusiast, and this week NASCAR is headed to the Chicago Street Circuits, racing in the streets of downtown Chicago. This past week, I picked William Byron. Wasn't good, just terrible pick, just awful pick. Even though I'm wearing a William Byron hat right now, you can't see it because I have it flipped backwards because we are getting the rally cap out. I typically wear my hat backwards when I need something good to happen with my favorite teams or drivers, and this week it's going to be that way. I'm going to go backwards hat in this video to hopefully get a win. So let's talk about what happened last year in the Chicago Street Circuit race. Shane Van Gisbergen got the job done. He will be racing this year for Colleague Racing in the 16, but I don't think he's going to win. Mainly because last year's race was in the rain. He has experience in that, and a lot of the Cup guys don't. But I think that could be different this year because this weekend is more likely going to be in the sun all day long. So I'm taking a look to see who was good last year in the sun, specifically in practice. You had Martin Truex Jr., Ty Gibbs up there. You had a lot of those guys that are typical road course guys up there. And one guy that I'm very confident in this weekend is going to be Mr. Tyler Reddick. He came in third in Nashville, almost got the job done. I think he's going to carry that momentum into the Chicago Street Course, as well as because he was running very strong last year in the wet, in the dry, and just got into the wall, drove it in too hard, obviously, and didn't finish that race fairly well. But he was battling in the top 3 all day long. So my pick for this weekend Chicago Street Race is Mr. Tyler Reddick, the Red Dog. Let's bring him a win, and let's hope this rally cap does what it's supposed to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, Andy, I'm really hoping John DeRudris can get rid of this run of bad luck that he has been on the last few weeks. Willie B last week for Nashville Super Speedway didn't help the case either. He's 2-5 right now as far as picks go.
That's better than mine.
Well, I mean, obviously it's better than yours, but
mine too.
Yeah, it's better than all of ours actually, if you think about it, because realistically, we're just picking off the top of our heads who we want to see win. Whereas with John, he's going based off of the stats. And it's one of those things that, the stats really don't lie. But, again, every race is always going to be unique. So,
especially with this car. They're still trying to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
And that's why they race.
Exactly. And so, who knows? Maybe that pick that the Motorsports Enthusiast just had is going to be the end-all be-all to break his bad luck streak. I'm hopeful at least, but we will see what happens with that. And with that said here, boys, man, we got to get out of here. The fastest 60 minutes in motorsports. It doesn't feel like an hour goes by that fast, but it really does. And but with that said here, we've got to do it. For Andy DeLay, the NASCAR chef John Dix, and our guest this week, Geoff Bodine, I'm producer Wayne. We love you guys, and until next week, burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning rubber, baby.
Burning Rubber Radio is a production of White Lightning Entertainment with studios in Statesville, North Carolina, and was brought to you by Drive Refine. It's more than driver coaching, it's Drive Refine. Visit driverefine.com to get signed up today. This week's show was produced by Wayne Owens. Remember to visit burningrubberradio.com for news, recipes, and more great content. Burning Rubber Radio can be seen on Rumble, YouTube, or wingding.tv and heard on radio stations nationwide. Any use of the accounts or descriptions contained in this broadcast must be the express written permission of White Lightning Entertainment.